Hello everybody, I'm going slightly early live today and only on IGTV for the live, but welcome if you're joining live and welcome of course if you are watching on the playback as well. I will have uploaded this to YouTube, so welcome if you're watching on YouTube, IGTV, and of course if you're listening on the podcast. So today, part of the reason I'm not exactly on time is because I'm on location and I'm here at the very impressive Blenheim Palace. This is 300 years old Blenheim Palace, the only non-ecclesiastical, non-royal place to take the name Palace, which is quite interesting. And the reason for my visit today is I've been recording a podcast with the social historian here, Antonia Kearney, which will be available mid-November. I'll let you all know the date. And we've been talking specifically today about Sarah Churchill, who was the first Duchess of Marlborough. And she was the lady responsible for most of the building that you see here. And it wasn't, in fact, somewhere she particularly liked. But the land here at Woodstock was given by a grateful Queen Anne and a grateful nation, ostensibly, to Sarah Churchill's husband, John Churchill, who was the first Duke of Marlborough. He was victorious at the Battle of Blenheim, or that's the anglicised version. I think it's I can't pronounce it. Blenheim, I think is the name of the place where he saw his victory. Anglicised to Blenheim, and that's why this is called Blenheim Palace. Hi Janice, Janice, I'm sorry, I don't know, I hope I pronounced that not too poorly. And hi, I can see everyone joining, so thank you for joining me. So yes, I'm at Blenheim Palace. As I say, this is 300 years old. The land and £240,000 in money, obviously in 1705 it was the first stone was laid. That money was given. So the land and the money was given by Queen Anne. And the land was the Royal Park of Woodstock. And you may have heard of Woodstock. I'm going to walk because I'm going to show you some more of the grounds. Woodstock was Woodstock Manor had been a hunting lodge, and this was hunting parks, and for centuries before, a favourite of kings. I mean, anywhere there was hunting, you'd find a few kings. I'll talk about this man in a moment as well. And so there's this Woodstock Manor, which was basically a hunting lodge, apparently added to and become quite rambling, etc., etc. And it was in the grounds, sort of behind me. Oh, I'm going to go closer over there so you can see a little bit better. Now, as I said, Sarah Churchill was the lady really responsible for this place being finished. It wasn't her favourite, but she carried on with it following her husband's death in 1722 to get it finished in his memory, because he liked it. Yes, and so it was finished, but the palace, the Woodstock Manor, which by the way had also been, or the gatehouse of which had been where Princess Elizabeth, before she became Elizabeth I, she was kept prisoner. That's probably not quite the right word, but she was kept there at some point. Anyway, that was destroyed, and the reason it was destroyed, Sarah Churchill is a very interesting character. Now, if you got on the wrong side of her, woe betide you. If you went against her wishes, woe betide you. Her architect for here, she wanted Christopher Wren. She didn't get Christopher Wren. She got Van Berg. Van Berg said, well, that manor, Woodstock Manor, would be a fabulous folly in the garden or in the grounds. And that would be a fabulous thing to look out upon from your palace over here. She didn't want that. But unbeknownst to her, to Sarah, Van Berg decided to do up Woodstock Manor or the manor. I think I can't remember, it's Woodstock. I think they referred to it as Woodstock Manor. Anyway, decided to have that done up so that he could live there whilst the building work was going on. Sarah, one day, she got wind of this and she went over to the manor, and the housekeeper there showed her around, that's not unusual for these kind of houses, for the housekeeper to show people around. She didn't know who Sarah was, which is quite unbelievable really. Sarah sees what Van Berg has done over at Woodstock and is really not impressed. She is infuriated, she's livid, and she orders for the entire place to be razed to the ground, which it was. Hence we have nothing of Woodstock Manor remaining. Some of the bricks are in the foundations of the that's a bridge there, you can't really tell on the screen. Hi, welcome, thank you everyone for joining. So some of the bricks from the manor are actually in the foundations of that bridge behind me. So there you are. So this is why we don't have Woodstock. Woodstock the village, or I think it's a village, it's only a very small town if it's a town at all, is still standing, that's still in this area. So Woodstock is the place, it's still a place. But yeah, so Woodstock Manor that the Tudors would have known, and indeed their predecessors, no longer exists, thanks to a little bit of a hissy fit from Sarah Churchill, first Duchess of Marlborough. So this podcast, I've recorded it today with Antonia Keeney, who's like I say, the social historian here, and that will be available in a few weeks' time. So look out for that. It is good. It's very sad that it's gone. It's very sad for us, isn't it? And it just shows as well the, in my opinion, the responsibility people who have ownership of our heritage, that the responsibility that they have. But Sarah Churchill, yeah, very interesting character. She's someone I think don't know if I would have liked her, but I do like some of the things she did. You know, she did not suffer fools gladly, that's for sure. But she also had this air of she was the one who was hard done by. And if you didn't agree with her, there was no middle ground. You either agreed with her or you were wrong. Which, I can kind of sympathise with sometimes. No, that's very bad of me. Before I go on, I just want to say a big thank you and shout out. I've had 3 new patrons join me this week, Deb, Sonia and Beverly. So thank you so much. They've all joined up at patreon.com/British History. So thank you so much. And I think they've all been enjoying my interview with Dr. Cat Marchant, who we were talking about Arabella Stuart and the Queen we never had. How she was related to the throne, how she had a claim to the throne, and a bit about her and her life. Janice, have I been to Scotney Castle, an old castle kept as a folly there? No, I haven't actually. There's oh goodness, there's a castle in Northumberland which is similar. The old castle is still in the grounds. Begins with an N. Can't remember, but yes, it's basically the family moved out into the new castle, into the new. It's very similar, but on a much smaller scale to here actually, and it will come to me. It'll come to me at a random moment, and I'll tell you. I'll tell you what it is. So thank you to all those who have signed up to my Patreon this week. Really, really, really appreciate it. It helps me keep going with things like this. So that's great. So anyone who's in my Patreon, there's also a trailer. So there's about a minute of the interview. It's actually a 45-minute interview or chat we had. But there's a minute or so of it, maybe a minute 30, I can't remember, trailer, which you can watch on YouTube. To get an idea of how our chat went about Arabella Stuart. So that was fun. Also, anyone who, sorry, I don't do joins on my IGTV lives. Sorry. But I will talk about my IGTV live that we missed yesterday. Anyone who has been following on Clubhouse, or since we've started to put some of our Clubhouse rooms on to Instagram, might have noticed there was a bit missing last night. We should have been doing our History After Dark room at 8:15 on a Wednesday. That's what we do. Anyway, we didn't do it. We had to postpone it for various reasons. So that will happen next Wednesday, and we're doing. It's inspired by the quote, "Well-behaved women seldom make history," and the theme is particularly the specific theme for next Wednesday's room. I'm still calling them rooms, but we're on Instagram. Is mad, bad, and dangerous to know. So do join us for that. I think that will be really fun. Just keep an eye on my Instagram stories and I will let you know where we're going live and just remind you of the time. But if you're around tomorrow at 4 o'clock, don't you find traffic just sort of takes away the... Shall I stand like that? Is that better? That's better, isn't it? So if you're around at 4 o'clock tomorrow, I will be going live again with Deb Royal, who's Tudor Times, and Sarah Morris, who's the Tudor Travel Guide, and we're talking about Christmas at Tudor places. So what some of the Tudor historical sites are doing for Christmas, which might sound a bit early. I'm sorry about that, but actually, we're mid-October already, and a lot of these things begin toward the middle to end of November. So we're actually not that far off. We're not actually that far off things starting up for Christmas. I know here at Blenheim, I know this isn't Tudor, but they have a light trail around the garden, which is quite a popular thing that places do, especially when they've got gardens and grounds like here. So that's so that's 4 o'clock tomorrow. But yeah, no, don't worry, nobody missed the room last night. We didn't do it. So we shall be doing it. And the other exciting thing to tell you about the History After Dark room is that it will also be available soon, fingers crossed, if the tech works, as a podcast. So not only will you be able to, little fan, not only will you be able to watch it back on Instagram, but if you like listening to podcasts, you'll be able to grab it on a podcast as well. So again, just keep your eye out. We'll obviously share lots of details about, all the details about how you can get hold of that when it is live. So and then we have a Clubhouse room straight after tomorrow, so 5 o'clock tomorrow, and we'll be talking about, we've got Charlie Fenton joining us. She's got a book out about Jane Parker, so Lady Rochford, the wife of George Boleyn, sister-in-law to Anne Boleyn, and maybe a misunderstood figure of history. So Charlie will be with us talking about Jane and who she really was. Gail, did you know of the South Sea Bubble Company? Not something I know off the top of my head. No. DM me, let me know more, and I'll look into it. Churchill. I said I'd speak about Churchill. So like I said, this was built by, John Churchill, Sarah Churchill, with the money given to them by Anne, Queen Anne. They had a falling out, by the way, and the Churchills had to stump up about £60,000 of their own money for it. But that Churchill, that family name, that is the same Churchill name that we have Winston Churchill. And Winston Churchill, although it was his uncle who was the Duke of Marlborough. I'm trying to think which one now, 11th or 12th, I can't remember. Anyway, they were having a party. Winston Churchill's mother to be at the time was at the party. She goes into labour on the dance floor at the ball and gives birth to Winston Churchill, who's about 6 weeks premature, in a room not too far away from the central hall behind me. So this is indeed the birthplace of Winston Churchill as well. And he was very, very fond of this place. He came back many times during his life, and he's buried not too far away as well. So this was a really special place to him, not only for being his birthplace, but yeah, he took a liking to it. Totally. Gail, you're homeschool. Are you homeschooling at present? Fair play. Fair play to you. Hats off. No, the sun's going to get into everyone's eyes here. So it's just going to be a short one today. I just wanted to come on, show you a little bit about where I am, tell you why I was here, and a little bit about why I wasn't around last night, but where you can catch me next week. If you want to join my Patreon, just head over to patreon.com/British History, and you will be able to see the interview I've done with Dr. Cat there about Arbella Stewart. If you want to see how Arbella Stewart is related or was related to Elizabeth I, how she had any claim at all to the throne, then if you check out my Instagram reel, then that sort of explains it, I hope. And yeah, and I will be back live tomorrow at 4 o'clock. Like I say, so that's Travelling Tudor Britain. That again is a clubhouse room that we've moved over to Instagram, where we'll be talking about Tudor heritage sites and what they're doing for Christmas. So you can just pretend you're going to go and have it like just start thinking about that, or maybe you are actually going to be lucky enough to have a go. To be able to travel somewhere and do a little Tudor Christmas somewhere. So I will see you all tomorrow at 4 o'clock. So have a fabulous rest of your day. Thank you for joining me. I will see you all really soon. Bye.